Now, from CBS 4 News, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Good morning, I'm Jim DeFede, and welcome to Facing South Florida. Just before Thanksgiving in a Broward courtroom, we watched as this dramatic moment unfolded.
We, the jury, find as follows: as to the defendant in this case, the defendant is not guilty.
That was Joy Cooper being found not guilty on a series of state corruption charges. That moment came 2 years after Cooper had been arrested. Prosecutors alleged Cooper received $5,000 in illegal campaign contributions for a 2012 campaign to be mayor of Hallandale Beach. It turned out those campaign contributions were part of an FBI sting operation. Jurors, however, found the state's key witness, a disgraced, disbarred, drug-addled lobbyist, was not reliable, and the undercover video was not sufficient. Here was her reaction that night outside the courtroom.
I'd just like to say I thank God. I thank my husband and my family and everyone that's been supportive of me. The process did work, and I'm glad I had justice.
After a 2017 arrest, Cooper was removed from office, but on Thursday, Governor Ron DeSantis reinstated Cooper as mayor of Hallandale Beach. And the newly reinstated mayor is with us here this morning for her first Sunday morning interview. Mayor Cooper, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Mr. DeFede.
So let's start with the basics. What's the last 2 years been like for you?
Well, it's taught me a lot of patience and understanding the process, the court process. And in addition to being suspended, I actually have had some personal issues. My father regretfully passed away, so I'm very spiritual, and I said, well, God put you where he wants you to be. So I had a chance to spend time, my father's last 9 days with him, taking care of my family, of course, my husband, my kids, and my 91-year-old mother. She ended up moving to Florida, and actually I do care for my husband, and I have my other mother by marriage, Sylvia, living with us as well. So I'm a pretty busy lady and always have been a pretty busy lady, but it's been challenging. It's very difficult for my family, obviously. I've had their unwavering support through this all, and love and encouragement. So it was a trial, obviously, excuse the pun, but we made it through even stronger. Obviously,
the death of your father has to be the lowest point of the last 2 years, but
yes.
As it relates to this process, you know, what was the lowest point for you during these past 2 years?
Well, the lowest point actually was being arrested and going through that process, being incarcerated for the day and waiting to be released. And then after that, it was just basically a waiting time. It was a very difficult trial because we ended up having to go back to the judge almost 6 times to compel evidence from the state prosecutor as well as the FBI. So that process took quite a long time. That was extremely frustrating.
Well, what did you learn from all of this?
Like I said, I've learned patience. I've learned things aren't always what they seem they are. I guess that would be a good summary of things.
How so?
Well, I think for people that watched, and you know, obviously I had many supporters and many prayers from them, and you know, they really lifted my spirits during all this time. But it's been, I just lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
I just lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay. Well, I was just,
and I'm really sorry. Oh my goodness.
No, this has to be a very,
it's hard to summarize what
Sure.
I've been through over 2 years, and I have a very strong faith in God and my family, so I believe that's what got me through these struggles. And what I've learned from the process, it's very challenging, and I do believe that many elected officials probably wouldn't have done or taking it this far.
Did you ever come close to taking a deal? I'm sure you were probably offered.
It was offered, but I said no. Absolutely not.
Did you think about the prospect of going to prison?
I had to prepare for the worst, but I always hoped for the best. I didn't do what they had said, and obviously that came out during the court trial, and many people, if they weren't in that courtroom every day listening to everything, they didn't realize all the facts. So I'm just glad the facts came out, that the jury understood the facts, understood because it was an extremely complex trial, and if somebody was never involved in a political process or understood elections or understood campaign contributions, it was a learning process for many of the jurors, I believe, too.
And I want to talk about that in a second, but one of the things I wanted to ask was, you know, you didn't testify during the trial. What is it that you would have wanted to tell them?
Actually, it was, I love my attorney. He did a fabulous job, Larry Davis, as well as Shauna Corda, as well as Alfred. You know, I had a nice team, Alfred Patai. They were wonderful, and kudos goes out to them. And it was obviously, as being a very open and transparent person, it was a difficult decision that I had to make alone. So what I did in the process was I actually wrote what I would have liked to have said. And I delivered it to my attorney, and I said, this is how I feel. If you can translate this as much as possible into your closing arguments, I would feel comfortable not testifying.
So what was the key point that you would have liked to have said to the jury yourself?
That I am an honest, hardworking public servant, and that I never have ever taken any bribes. I have never done anything in my entire 18-year career except serve the residents of Hallandale Beach. And I've had public service in my blood for a very long time. I worked for the state of New Jersey in the Division of Taxation for some time. I left that job and went with my husband and ended up moving to Florida. And I'm very fortunate not to really have to work full-time, and wanted to make the city a better place. And that's always been my goal. And I believe people know me in Hallandale Beach, and they understand that, and it's evident from the outpouring of.
So you said part of the process was having to sort of explain to people how campaign contributions work, how all that sort of thing.
Right.
And what the trial got boiled down for the general public to that FBI undercover videotape.
Correct.
In which you're sitting there, this goes back to 2012, you're sitting there at a table, you know, at, I think it's Gulfstream, you know, and the key line I think that saved you was as the two FBI agents are there, Kozlow is there, they're trying to put pressure on you to, you know, we're going to give you these campaign contributions, and in return, you're going to expedite review of a 20-story building that they want to develop.
Correct.
And this is the quote that you have on the tape. You want me to give a guarantee. I can't give a guarantee. I shared my vision. I told you what I like. You're mutchering me. I feel mutchered. You're mutchering me, which if you don't speak Yiddish means basically you're pestering me, you're annoying me, you're bothering me.
Right.
I guess the question that I would have is, if you're sitting there at a table with lobbyists and with a lobbyist and two developers, and they're trying to push checks on you and give you and guarantee you contributions, why not just get up from the table and say, you know what, keep your money. I don't need any of this hassle. I don't need to be put in a position like this.
Right. Well, I didn't get money from them. You know, first of all, I want to make that abundantly clear. I was running a campaign. They just happened to be people that were Alan Kozlow was representing. He was actually representing the teacher that wanted to move to Hallandale, and he was also representing another developer in the city. So I never received money from them. As a matter of fact, I was very frustrated. I mentioned earlier, I'm very open, I'm very transparent. As part of being an elected mayor, I have to meet with people. I might not necessarily like them, but if they want to do business in the city, I certainly need to be hospitable. And I rarely turn down a meeting. Now, this was the third time that, and I just finally said, I'm in the middle of a campaign. As a matter of fact, I had gotten up, I had gotten a call, a personal call, and I got up, and I at that point I was like, enough's enough. I never believed I got 1 cent from them. And
but there were some checks.
Obviously, no. Obviously, Alan Kozlow had gotten money from it, and that came out in the trial as well. The $8,000, apparently, that the FBI had given him that was supposed or purported to go to me, never went to me. And he actually joked cavalierly that it was going to, I guess, one of his, to say it politically correct, a very good acquaintance.
A woman who he was apparently...
Yes, so, you know,
well, let me ask you this.
That's
Why do you think the prosecutors in this case, why do you think the FBI went so strong in this case to come after you?
Well, the FBI didn't come after me. The federal prosecutor did not come after me.
He referred it to the state.
The attorney
right?
came after me. And what came out in court finally was that Mr. Koslow actually had a plea deal with them to reduce his probation. So, you know, I guess taking a line from him, just because he says it isn't true. I mean, that rang loud and clear. That Alan Koslow did what he had to do. I'm sorry he had a drug addiction. I know obviously he has some other issues, but, you know, he is not a credible person.
Let me just ask it this way. Do you feel you made any mistakes at all in this process? In terms of the meetings and the back and forth with Koslow or with the developers?
Actually, and it'll go by a sidebar. Years ago when I was first elected official, I actually had a meeting with Mr. Koslow and one of his other associates on a different project. And his boss at the time, I told his boss I would never want to meet with him again. So I think the lesson learned, you stick with your gut. And you never, if you know that that's kind of the character of the individual, no. If he had to represent somebody, I felt, you know, if you have clients that are
How much did this cost you, by the way, for your defense?
Well, I had a big hefty deposit, and my attorney's still calculating the hourly rates and all that.
50,000, 100,000?
In the hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yes.
Mayor Cooper, thank you very much for your time. Your first meeting back is on Wednesday in Hallandale Beach.
And I'm really looking forward to it. And
good luck to you.
Thank you very,
We'll have you back
very
to talk
much,
about city business next time.
I hope so.
Up next, Donald Trump is on the verge of being only the third president in history to be impeached. We'll take a closer look with someone who knows the case well when we come back.